Shalom. Welcome again to Seekers of Meaning, the podcast TV arm of Jewish Sacred Aging. I'm your host, Rabbi Richard Address. Thank you very, very much for joining us in what I hope will be a very, very informative and entertaining conversation. If you would like to make a suggestion or contact us about an idea or the program, please feel free to email me at Rabbi Address at jewishsacredaging.com. Visit the website, jewishsacredaging.com, and the Facebook page and all that other stuff, which all of you know, I'm sure, by heart. And if not, ask your grandchildren because they know it explicitly. We are very, very pleased to welcome to today's edition of Seekers of Meaning Dr. Arielle Berger, coming to us from the beautiful city of Toronto. Dr. Berger is a geriatrician, assistant professor in the Department of Medicine at the University of Toronto, has a clinical practice at Toronto Grace Health Center in downtown Toronto, and is an educator, expert in all these fields that we're going to be talking about, and is in the process of studying for the rabbinate at the Shalom Hartman Institute. So welcome, Dr. Berger. It's nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's really exciting.
So you're a practicing physician in Toronto dealing with geriatrics, which fits, of course, into Jewish sacred aging. And you decide to become a rabbi. So I guess the obvious question is why? You can't be bored. I can't imagine you're bored.
Yeah. I mean, I guess fundamentally, I just love Jews and Judaism. I don't know how else to put it. I've kind of been in love with Jewish learning since I was a young person. I think part of the question is why I didn't do that in the first place. And part of it had to do with being a woman within the Orthodox community. And there were no role models for women as rabbis within that community. So it just, I don't know, it didn't really occur to me in a sense that was a possibility. I definitely had role models of really learned women who were leaders. I think mostly where I encountered them was in the field of education as a student. And I think the idea of becoming like a school teacher was not what I was interested in. And that's not what drew me to the rabbinate. So yeah, like it just kind of didn't occur to me at the time. And I really wanted to do something that would feel productive and like I'm giving back to the world and to the community. I did well in school. Medicine seemed like a good place to go. And really, it has been a very rewarding career. But there's always been something missing.
So was there like an aha moment in the operating room or in classroom that all of a sudden your soul said, wait a minute, to fill in that little missing part, this is where you should go?
There probably were a few. One of them was quite a number of years ago. I was early in my first job after graduating residency and all of my training, and I was doing a certificate program in medical education. And we needed to do a project for that program. And I happened to open the Annals of Internal Medicine one day, which I had had a subscription to. It came into my mailbox, and there was a personal essay by someone describing an experience as a medical student, seeing a physician at the same time save a woman's life and like actually sexually assault her at the same time. It was, a woman who had given birth and was hemorrhaging. And the doctor had to do like manual massage to the uterus and started like singing a song basically while he had his hands inside her uterus. Like it's just really inappropriate. And I just had this thought when this happened that so many of us go into medicine with really, really good intentions. And somehow something happens in the process that like beats it out of us sometimes. And how do we stop that from happening? How do we help our learners show up as their best selves? And we're going to have bad days. That's allowed. But for the most part, right? Like, how do we help people really understand their motivations, help them find ways so that their motivations and the reality can come together in ways that are meaningful so that they don't feel so, I don't know, like so completely burnt out that they end up acting out in inappropriate ways.
So, so this led you to
So,
no.
yeah. So that was step one, which was thinking about, okay, what is my role as an educator? And it kind of got me down this road of thinking about the parts of medical education that are not about the medical content, the parts that are about the person, the individual, and the relationship between the physician and the patient and their family. Like, what is happening in that process? How do we show up as human beings on both sides? And I think it's not a big stretch to go from there to thinking about spirituality and meaning, both for ourselves as the providers and also for our patients.
That linkage, I mean, it's just fascinating to me because somebody else writes for the website, and I should tell people that Dr. Berger did put something on Jewish Sacred Aging, the website, the homepage of the website in June. That's really a fascinating piece. It's called From Doing to Being with Awe, channeling a little bit of Heschel and a lot of Soloveitchik and The Lonely Man of Faith, which and it speaks to, in essence, I think the geriatric component of your practice, because we get to a point in our life where I think, and it's been my experience, that something happens to many people that we understand we don't need more material stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what may be lacking is a sense of purpose or spirituality, whatever the word is. But I don't need another car. I don't need another house. I don't need it. I just don't need it anymore.
Right.
But I do need something to make sense out of the fact that we're mortal.
Yeah. And I think, another thing that I noticed, I'll just add, is that one, like a really important learning for me was a model called Patient Priorities Care, which was developed within the geriatrics world to help doctors and patients come together to identify goals and values. And in their model, they had, I think, 4 different categories of what is most important to people. Things like function, being like symptom-free, relationship and meaningful connection, and longevity, let's say. I'm probably not citing them exactly correctly, but that's the idea. And I thought this was brilliant, right? Because this is, for some people that longevity is primary importance, they're going to be willing to go through lots of tests and invasive procedures and this and that for that purpose. But for someone else whose primary goal is symptom control, we might want to take a different path. And I just noticed that when I tried to have these conversations with my patients, I got a lot of blank stares. People were not used to even having the question of, what is most important to me right now? What do I want to prioritize? And I think that that's just what's happening in society, that we've forgotten to think about meaning and purpose.
In Atul Gawande's book, Being Mortal, his 4 questions that he wants to ask.
Uh-huh.
And the reason why I wanted to have this conversation with you also is because I'm just this juxtaposition, this linkage of medicine and Judaism, which is historic.
Yes.
Very historic. And I'm sure you studied Maimonides and the holistic approach to life, but also the essay that Heschel did in, I think, 1964. Was a speech before the American Medical Association, which is printed all over the place called "The Patient is a Person,"
Mm-hmm.
which is beyond brilliant. I mean, it's just beyond brilliant. The tragedy of which is, 50, 60 years late, we still haven't figured it out.
100%.
So talk to me about this journey of how you in your practice, both religiously and medically, understand the role, because you do write about it in the essay for the website. Understand this role of spirituality.
Just a small question.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy.
I think the best way I can explain what I mean by spirituality is a connection to something bigger than myself that is universal. Like, it's something that connects all of us to each other and to the world. There's something about feeling that connection that I think gives people a lot of comfort, a sense of being held, maybe, or loved.
So can there be as a colleague of yours who's also writing for the website, Dr. Skrzyński, can there be a Jewish way of practicing medicine? A Jewish way of practicing medicine?
Oh, wow. I think the practice of medicine in the best case is, when done well, let's say, is following Jewish values, or consistent with Jewish values. But I think those are values that are pretty universal, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, just the primary one being respecting the dignity of each individual human being.
Right. The idea of dignity, and that you cannot remove the dignity of any, because it's contrary to the moral principles of Jewish tradition to do it, because of the Tselem Elohim, the linkage of Genesis 1 and Tselem Elohim.
Yeah.
You, as a geriatrician, not only in practice but also academically, you deal with individuals
Mm-hmm.
who, as we get older, are undergoing significant change, whether we like it or not.
Yep.
If we are given the gift of longevity, which is a gift,
That's right.
there are going to be changes. Just now, I'm not talking about a horrible diagnosis but just
regular aging.
What are when somebody walks in and says, "My doctor, my body is changing. I can feel my body changing. I don't know what to do with it." What are some of the ways that we can, in a sacred way, if that's the right word, probably isn't, understand that this is part of life. This is the natural changes in our body. How do we begin to understand? Because it is, in many ways, a sense of loss.
Absolutely. I think one of the fundamental Jewish teachings that is helpful here is a sense of gratitude. I learned from one of my teachers this lesson that, the first words we say in the morning are modeh ani, moda ani. Before there's even ani, me, we say the word grateful, that we're grateful. And that's not to take away from the very, very real loss and pain that exists. It's not to negate it. It's not to coat it over or push it under the rug. We can recognize, we can mourn those losses, but realizing that what we do have could be otherwise, right? Like you said, the fact of aging and longevity is a gift itself. So I think, to me, at least, that's been one of the fundamental lessons that I think can help people with with managing the stage of life that is filled with a lot of potential pain.
And there are prayers in the prayer book and in the liturgy that really, in addition to the modani, that really speak to
100%. So
the
many.
the
Yeah.
gratitude, even the nikavim prayer, the bathroom prayer.
I love it. Yes, I've been
It-
teaching that, and it's exactly that, right? Like, and
yeah,
some of my students introduced me to a poem. I think it's called "It Could Be Otherwise." It's basically the bathroom prayer, but it just, this noticing, right? Like it could be otherwise. It could be that the holes that are open were closed, and that would
yeah.
put me in really big trouble.
Yes, it's when when we do that, when we do the liturgy, when the health and wellness workshop is part of the Jewish Seder, we teach this prayer like you do, and I said, well, where do you do this? And I don't know, in the morning, whatever. I said, no, it's a bathroom prayer, because listen, if one of the things that's supposed to open doesn't, we have a little problem. In fact, you may have a big problem.
Huge
So it's a
problem.
thank you. It's a thank you that, hey, my body is working.
Yeah, this is Jewish mindfulness 101. That
Yeah,
before we even had terms for it, it was there in our tradition. So, yeah.
what as you go through the rabbinate, as you go through your education, and let's fast forward a couple of years and you're ordained, and how do you see yourself? What do you want to do with this, given
Mm.
your medical training and your yet soon to be rabbinic training? What do you want to do with it?
I have a small goal, which is to radically shift how our communities think about aging. That I'm going to steal your title. Aging should be thought of as sacred and treasured. Um, I, how we're going to get there. It's going to be one step at a time. There's so many more proportionally of our community are going to be seniors over the coming years. So the need is obvious, and
Oh,
it's a great time to be taking up this task. I've started, as I wrote about in the article, I've started with Linda Thal and Rachel Cowan's book, Wise Aging, and the curriculum that is associated with it, which I've just fallen in love with. That material is so rich and so relevant. People are just really immediately taking to it and finding it really helpful to rethink. So I've been teaching small groups of older adults around Toronto, and I'm trying to think about, I don't know exactly where to go next. Working with other organizations that are thinking about these things. I really want to try to motivate people in the rabbinate and that maybe haven't always thought that focusing on seniors is an exciting part of their job, to pick that up with a bit more excitement as well.
well, let me know, because we're it's a
I'm speaking
challenge.
to the converted here.
It's a challenge, because a lot of for example, the Pew Report of the United States Jewish community that was published, it was based upon data that was collected around 2019, was published in 2020, already shows now, if you extrapolate the numbers, over 50% of the United States Jewish community are people over the age of 50.
Mm-hmm.
The overwhelming majority of Jewish organizations, institutions, synagogues, JCCs, whatever, don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
Because the youth are our future. But
Right.
as you know, from your professional medical practice, and as you're obviously engaging in your rabbinic training, the life experience that may exist within a congregation, real practical life experience, often goes untapped.
Yeah.
Often goes untapped. And we untap it to our detriment.
Yes.
You write in your essay for Jewish Sacred Aging, and I hope you're going to continue to write for the website, about The Lonely Man of Faith, which is a brilliant book. That thick. You can read it on a long plane flight, or a short plane ride, about Adam 1 and Adam 2. And it really does speak in many ways to the challenges of contemporary American society, contemporary North American society, or Western society, really. And you mentioned that in your essay. Could you just talk to us a little bit about your engagement with Soloveitchik's book and how you interpret Adam 1 and Adam 2?
Sure. I read The Lonely Man of Faith when I was a teenager. And I think it probably was the first time that I realized, other people feel this sense of bewilderment, of at the same time feeling completely alone, but wanting connection, wanting to understand, who am I? What am I? So I've loved that. I've loved this essay for many years. When I read it again recently, this year I had a course on modern Jewish thought, and we read many different modern Jewish thinkers, including Soloveitchik. So I came back to it again, and I just immediately resonated so much with the work that I've been doing. So Adam 1 is described as the archetype of a person who wants to understand the world in a technical, functional way. How does it work? How can I use what I've been given to create, to master? And this is a good thing. This is like a God-given drive that human beings have to want to create, to want to contribute. There's nothing wrong with this. On the other hand, there's Adam 2, who looks at the world and I guess I would say is speechless, is just awestruck.
Right.
Their first way of interacting with the world is not how does this work? What's the measurement? What are the scientific makeup of this thing that I'm looking at? But their first instinct is just awe and wow, and what is this? And how could this be? So in thinking about modern society, and especially in thinking about things like success, for example, I think we've really focused on the first Adam, which is the doing, the growing, the conquering things, showing, getting your degrees, moving up the totem pole in your organization and getting your titles, making money, being able to have money so that you can buy the things that show that you have the money. Right?
The material man.
And we've forgotten sometimes that at our basic foundation is a soul yearning to understand the world and who we are and a deeper purpose.
Our experience in Jewish Sacred Aging is with our cohort, which are the older adults, obviously now multi-generational cohort, that yearning really has to do with, I'm at a stage where I understand I'm going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And what the hell does this mean? And am I an accident, or do I have purpose?
Mm-hmm.
And once you cross over into that series of questions, everything, the way you look at the world, the way you deal with things changes. And both things can be true at the same. Both atoms can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
And
we need them both. We can't just all be sitting and meditating and contemplating the world, right? So
no, not at all.
So I think it's about figuring out how to balance them. That is the key, right? And when we're off balance is the challenge.
So, and by the way, that's one of the joys of the rabbinate is because our task and our calling is to really help people in those decisions, in navigating the various, because what you're navigating at 35 is not what you're navigating at 85.
Mm-hmm.
And to be held by a tradition, which is what we do.
Right.
So before we go, you also allude to this, I think, in the essay, and it's a very, very present subject right now. Canada has medical aid in dying. I live in New Jersey. We have medical aid in dying. There's a whole bunch of there's a few jurisdictions in the United States that have it. State of New York is, the bill is, I think, on its way to the governor's desk. Whether she'll sign it or not, nobody knows, or I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The Canadian law is, whether it's interpreted, is a little different than the New Jersey law. You must come across this dealing in the geriatric world. What's your, as a traditional Jew, somebody going into the rabbinate, and yet one talus is in the geriatric world with, and the other talus is over here with. How are you negotiating or navigating this for you as a person?
I've been finding it quite distressing. I'm not going to lie. The truth is, in my professional life as a physician, it has come up very few times for me. I think just by the nature of the type of patients I'm seeing. I'm mostly working in the rehab setting, medical rehab. So patients that were in hospital and need to get stronger before they go home. What's different, I guess, one of the things that's different about the legislation in Canada is that to be eligible for medical assistance in dying, you need to have a terminal diagnosis, but that the terminalness of it does not need to be imminent. So, you could have a disease that might kill you. That's definitely going to kill you, but it may be a number of years before it kills you. And if that disease is causing what you consider to be irremediable suffering, you would be eligible. I think there's so many things that pain me about it. One is that we don't have enough services to actually treat people's suffering. And so it just feels cruel that we're able to offer to people to end their life immediately, but we can't offer them actual treatment immediately. So that's just a nature of the Canadian healthcare system that's a real struggle at the moment. But the other thing that's really come forward is that we've seen that one of the sources of people's suffering that's leading them to request MAID has been functional decline. The fact that they can no longer be independent, many people are claiming, is causing them so much distress that they would like to end their life early. Now, it's hard to read the data. I don't know if that's the main reason why people are asking it, or if it's a reason among many. But if it is people's main reason, and I see this in front of me, that people are sometimes in so much distress over the idea that they're no longer independent. And that really pains me, because as a society, we should be a society that values helping others. And that if we need help, we understand that we're part of a circle of give and take, of love and care, that it's okay to receive help when we need help. But I think it demonstrates the real stigma against needing help that has been internalized by so many people. So I think that's one area that we have a lot of work to do.
And that is the calling to the rabbinate.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
When you sit with those people in a medical context, and you sit with them in a rabbinic context, there may be two different ways of approaching that life.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish you, Dr. Berger, much happiness and joy and luck in your studies. And thank you for this conversation. It's a fascinating journey that you're on, and just take care of yourself, stay healthy, and keep in touch. And we hope, and I'm very serious, I hope that you continue to write for the website, because the piece that you did last month with The Lonely Man of Faith was very, very, very lovely. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I hope to continue the conversation.
I hope so too. Good luck. To all of you, thank you very much for joining us on today's edition of Seekers of Meaning, the podcast TV arm of Jewish Sacred Aging. Again, if you'd like to contact us, just email me at Rabbi Address at jewishsacredaging.com. Visit the website. There's a very conveniently located donate button on the website. And if you'd like to help support these podcasts, just click on that and follow the prompts. It's real easy. Seekers of Meaning is produced at the broadcast centers of Lubetkin Media Company in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And a huge shout out to our producer, Steve Lubetkin. Until we see each other again on the next Seekers of Meaning, please take care of yourself, stay healthy, stay safe, and most of all, be kind to one another. Shalom and Todah.